Hey there, and welcome back to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're plunging into, well, the pretty fascinating world of graphics processing units, GPUs.
Yep.
Our mission really is to sort of unravel the story and the impact of NVIDIA's GeForce line, especially with all the recent buzz around the GeForce 50 series launch. That was January 2025, right?
That's right, January. And yeah, absolutely. We've got a great set of sources lined up for you. We're drawing from Wikipedia, GameForce.ie, Ether, some interesting Reddit discussions too,
Oh, yeah.
and KPMG's 2025 Semiconductor Industry Outlook.
Yeah.
So we're going to trace the GeForce journey, basically from its initial, laser focus on PC gaming
Right.
to its ever-expanding role now in cutting-edge fields like AI and robotics.
It's gone way beyond games.
Oh, definitely. Get ready for some surprising insights, hopefully things that will really cut through the information overload. Okay, ready to unpack this?
Let's do it. We have to start at the beginning, yeah?
Makes sense.
The GeForce brand. It made its grand entrance on August 31st, 1999. Wow.
That's a big milestone.
Oh,
It's actually celebrating its 25th anniversary this year.
25 years. It's quite a run.
It really is. Initially, NVIDIA designed and marketed GeForce as what they called discrete add-on graphics boards.
Right.
So basically, these weren't built right into the computer. You bought them separately to boost your
It's
graphics.
that in cards, yeah.
And they were really targeting that, high-margin, high-end PC gaming market.
Exactly. And what's interesting, I think, is how that initial, very specific focus broadened out quite a bit over time.
hmm
The GeForce product line really diversified. Eventually, it was covering, well, pretty much all levels of the PC graphics market.
So not just the expensive stuff.
No, exactly. This included the more budget-friendly integrated GPUs, the ones built right onto motherboards,
Right. Yeah.
as well as your more mainstream retail boards that most people would buy.
And it didn't stop there, did it? I mean, more recently, GeForce Tech has even found its way into NVIDIA's embedded application processors. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which power things like handheld gaming devices and, mobile phones.
Wild. The very first product to carry the GeForce name was the GeForce 256.
The original?
And get this, by August 2017, NVIDIA announced they had over 200 million GeForce gamers.
200 million. That just shows the massive scale they achieved.
Incredible reach.
Yeah, a key takeaway there is really NVIDIA's strategic vision, I think. They tapped into a growing market super early
Mm-hmm.
and then just cleverly expanded their reach. I mean, today, the high-end discrete GPU market, it's essentially a two-horse race. You've got NVIDIA's GeForce and AMD's Radeon.
Pretty much.
Plus, GeForce has become just a dominant force in the general-purpose GPU market. GPU, they call it.
Right, CUDA.
Exactly, thanks to its CUDA architecture. And CUDA, it's NVIDIA's parallel computing platform. It lets developers use the huge processing power of these GPUs for tasks way beyond just rendering graphics.
Like AI.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
crucial for things like AI research, scientific computing, all sorts.
Okay, so let's delve into the family history then. The GeForce family tree.
Okay.
As of the latest GeForce 50 series, we're looking at, 19 different iterations of the design?
19 generations, yeah. It's a lot.
To give you a sense of how things have evolved, I mean, there have been some really pivotal series along the way.
Absolutely. And what's important to note, I think, are the technological leaps we've seen across these generations. Huge jumps.
Yeah.
Like, take the GeForce 3 series. Back in 2001,
Okay.
it introduced programmable shaders. Now, essentially, this gave game developers much, much greater control over how graphics were rendered.
So better visuals, more complex effects.
Exactly. Far more complex, more realistic visual effects became possible.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the GeForce 8 series. That initially stopped using the GeForce Go branding for laptops.
Right, I remember that.
Yep.
And then came the GeForce 10 series. Later, the GeForce 20 was, well, particularly significant, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it introduced real-time ray tracing.
Huge deal for lighting, yeah. Reflections, too. Brought a whole new level of realistic lighting and reflections to games.
Made things look way more real. Then we progressed through the GeForce 30, the 40 series.
Yep.
Ultimately leading us right up to the current GeForce 50.
And that GeForce 40 series, built on the Ada Lovelace architecture, announced back in September 2022.
Ada Lovelace, right?
That lineup included some really powerful cards. The RTX 4090, 4080, and then a whole range of other models, down to the RTX 4060.
Mm-hmm.
These were manufactured using TSMC's N4 process. which is apparently a custom design tailored just for NVIDIA.
Interesting. And the RTX 4090, when it launched in October 2022, that was the beast, right?
Oh, yeah. It was considered pretty much the fastest mainstream chip at the time,
Yeah.
packing something like 16,384 CEDA cores.
Yeah.
It's immense power.
16,000. Wow. And then to clear the stage for the new generation.
Yep, making room.
The entire RTX 40 series, 4090, 4080, 4070, all the versions, they were officially discontinued between October and December of 2024.
Yeah, a relatively short lifespan, actually,
Yeah.
but, necessary to make way for the next big thing.
The GeForce 50 series.
Which brings us right up to the present. The GeForce 50 series is based on the Blackwell microarchitecture, announced at CES 2025.
This year's CES.
Availability started in January this year. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang himself unveiled the pricing for the initial models, the RTX 5070, the 5070 Ti, RTX 5080, and the top dog, the RTX 5090.
And it wasn't just desktop cards, was it? Laptops featuring the GeForce 50 series laptop GPUs were also a big highlight at CES.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
These mobile powerhouses, they were shown paired with some of the latest and greatest mobile CPUs from, well, both Intel and AMD. Arrow Lake HX, Strix Point, Fire Range, the works.
So high-end laptops getting a big boost, too.
Absolutely. And what's particularly interesting there, especially for those of you who are laptop users, are the new Max-Q features in Blackwell.
And Max-Q, right, for efficiency.
Exactly. NVIDIA claims these can deliver, a pretty remarkable boost in battery life, up to 40% compared to the GeForce 40 series laptops.
40%? That's huge for a laptop. How?
Well, they've achieved this through innovations like advanced power gating, which essentially means shutting off parts of the GPU that aren't actively being used, to minimize power draw.
Sure.
And also a new ultra-low voltage state for the new GDDR7 memory, which just requires less energy to operate.
Right.
So it's about being smarter with power.
So for anyone eager to get their hands on this cutting-edge mobile tech, the first RTX 50 series laptops started hitting the shelves in March 2025.
Pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, with prices starting around, what, $1,299?
Sounds about right. So yeah, it looks like NVIDIA is really focusing on that balance,
Yeah.
high performance, but also improved power efficiency with this new generation.
That balance is key, especially for mobile.
Definitely. And it's also worth maybe touching on the evolution of NVIDIA's branding for their GPUs in different form factors.
Oh, right, like Go and M.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The GeForce Go branding for notebooks. That was around from the GeForce 2 series, but it was discontinued with the GeForce 8 series.
And then it was replaced by an M suffix, right? To show it was mobile.
Initially, yes, denoted mobile versions.
But that M suffix didn't last forever, did it?
No, you're right. In 2016, when they launched the GeForce 10 series for laptops, NVIDIA decided to drop it altogether.
Why was that?
Well, it seems like they were aiming for a more unified brand across their desktop and laptop offerings, probably reflecting the fact that laptop GPUs were getting much closer in performance to their desktop counterparts.
Ah, okay. Less distinction needed.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And interestingly, the GeForce MX brand, which was, previously used for entry-level desktop GPUs,
Yeah.
that was actually revived in 2017 specifically for notebooks, entry-level notebooks.
Okay, so MX came back for laptops.
Yep. And on top of that, NVIDIA has also released small form factor GPUs. They have an S suffix, designed for use in more compact systems like all-in-one desktop computers.
So they're really covering all the bases: desktops, laptops, small form factors.
Yeah, it really showcases their commitment, I think, to catering to just a huge range of device types and market segments.
Now let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the impact all of this has had on the world of PC gaming.
Right.
An article from GameForce, i.e., really highlights the profound influence GeForce has had on how PC gaming evolved over the decades.
Yeah, it's fascinating to trace that evolution, isn't it? The 80s and 90s really set the stage. You had iconic games like SimCity, Doom, Myst,
Classics.
foundational games. And during this period, graphics tech was just steadily advancing. The 90s brought key innovations like the big move to 3D rendering.
Right, huge step.
And more sophisticated lighting techniques,
Yeah.
getting closer to realism.
Then came the 2000s, which were, truly transformative, weren't they?
Oh yeah, games like Halo, Combat Evolved, and Grand Theft Auto III,
Yeah.
they didn't just captivate millions of gamers.
No, they defined an era.
Exactly. And they also coincided with major leaps forward in graphics cards, most notably the introduction of those programmable shaders we mentioned earlier.
With the GeForce 3.
With the GeForce 3, yeah. That changed everything for developers.
The article also makes a great point about how the rise of custom-built gaming PCs played a crucial role, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
It drove the demand for high-performance graphics. It created this sort of positive feedback loop
How so?
Well, better hardware enabled more visually demanding games. And then those amazing-looking games fueled the desire for even more powerful hardware.
Ah, gotcha. A cycle of upgrades.
Exactly. And it's interesting that Gameforce, i.e. mentioned the availability of the latest NVIDIA stuff, the RTX 5060, 5070, 5080, 5090, across their gaming PC range way back in November 2024.
November, so even before the official launch announcement at CES.
Well, maybe preparing stock or pre-orders, but yeah, it shows just how quickly these new GeForce series get adopted by the market. System builders want them ASAP.
Makes sense. But the story of GeForce doesn't end with gaming, does it? Not anymore.
Not at all. The Aether article we looked at explores how GPUs are now powering a whole new era. They call it physical intelligence in robotics.
Physical intelligence. Okay.
That's right. GPUs are essentially acting as the brains, the computational engine behind these huge advancements in AI, sensor tech, all sorts of other components.
That are driving robot capabilities.
Exactly. Across a huge range of industries, too.
The scale of this is, well, pretty mind-boggling. The global robotics market, projected to reach something like US $376 billion by 2035.
Staggering number. And GPUs are undeniably amplifying the capabilities, the potential of robots in sectors like manufacturing, healthcare, logistics, even agriculture.
Agriculture, wow. It really underscores just how versatile this tech has become, doesn't it?
Totally. I mean, GeForce was initially designed for rendering virtual worlds, right?
Yeah.
And now it's crucial for robots interacting with the real world.
That's a huge shift.
Think about the level of visual processing needed for, say, autonomous navigation or complex object manipulation. That's where the power and efficiency of these GPUs become absolute game changers. It's potentially accelerating the development of much more sophisticated robotic systems.
Okay, but this power comes at a cost, usually.
Yeah.
Which brings us to a more down-to-earth consideration. The price tag.
Ah, yes. The price. Always a hot topic.
There was a Reddit discussion from 2025 that looked at the inflation-adjusted price history of high-end NVIDIA GPUs. And it raised some, well, thought-provoking points about pricing trends.
Yeah, I saw that. One of the main arguments in that discussion was that the 90 series cards, the 4090, 5090.
The top tier.
Yeah, they've essentially become the successors to the older Titan series.
Yeah.
Which were always NVIDIA's sort of ultimate money-is-no-object enthusiast cards.
Right. The Titans were crazy expensive, so the 90 series took that spot.
That's the argument some make.
Yeah.
There was also a point made about how, back in the day, achieving peak gaming performance sometimes meant using multiple GPUs working together, SLI configuration.
Oh, yeah, SLI. 2 cards or more.
Which obviously added significantly to the cost.
Another really important point that came up in that Reddit thread, I think, is the challenge of tracking real-world prices versus the MSRP.
Oh, definitely. The manufacturer's suggested retail price. It's often suggested.
Especially during times of high demand, right? Or shortages. Actual selling prices can fluctuate like crazy because of market forces, scalpers, mining boom.
Exactly. However, it's worth noting, the price chart the original poster shared, it was specifically based on the retail prices set directly by NVIDIA, not street prices.
Okay, so focusing on MSRP. Got it. Stepping back now for a wider view, KPMG's 2025 Global Semiconductor Industry Outlook. That gives some valuable context, right, where GPUs fit into the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And what really stands out from that KPMG report is that for the first time ever, artificial intelligence AI is highlighted as the most significant application driving revenue in the whole semiconductor sector.
Wow, #1 driver is AI now.
Yeah, it really emphasizes the growing, widespread importance of AI across so many different industries. And interestingly, microprocessors, which of course include GPUs, are ranked as the top product opportunity for industry growth in the coming year.
So AI is driving revenue, and processors like GPUs are seen as the biggest growth area.
It's the gist. The report paints a generally optimistic picture for the semiconductor industry overall. A large majority, 86% of the executives they surveyed, expect their company's revenue to grow in the next year.
That's pretty positive, but it also points to some significant challenges on the horizon, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's not all smooth sailing. Things like attracting and keeping talented employees. The talent war is real. And also the complexities of tariffs, geopolitical tensions. Those are identified as the biggest issues facing the industry over the next 3 years.
Supply chain concerns, too.
Definitely. Building flexibility into the supply chains is a major strategic priority. More and more companies are looking to diversify where they source components, to make their supply lines more resilient to disruption.
Makes sense after the last few years.
Totally. It's also fascinating that the KPMG outlook highlights the increasing adoption of generative AI, Gen AI, within semiconductor companies themselves.
Using AI to make AI chips.
Kind of, yeah. Especially in areas like IT and research and development,
Hmm.
they also anticipate wider use of Gen AI in things like managing supply chains, even in marketing and sales.
Hmm.
So AI is becoming a tool for the industry itself.
Interesting loop there. Okay, finally, let's touch on NVIDIA's software ecosystem, because the hardware is only part of the story.
True. GeForce Experience, that's been the companion app for NVIDIA cards since, what, 2013?
Yeah, for game optimization, driver management, shadow play.
Right. Well, that was officially retired on November 12th, 2024.
End of an era for GeForce Experience, but don't worry, it's been succeeded by something new.
Yep. NVIDIA launched the NVIDIA app, version 1.0. It boasts a more modern interface, apparently improved performance, and tighter integration of various features.
Okay, so what's new in the NVIDIA app?
Well, it includes a redesigned in-game overlay, support for higher frame rate recording with shadow play up to 120 SOT-BRs now,
Nice.
and some really interesting new AI-powered in-game filters, things like RTX HDR and RTX Dynamic Vibrance,
AI filters, how do they work?
basically using AI to enhance the visuals in real time. RTX Dynamic Vibrance, for instance, is supposed to make colors pop more. It also introduces auto-tuning for automatically optimizing your GPU's clock speed.
Oh, automatic overclocking, sort of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Simplified performance tuning, and a new feature called Smooth Motion.
Smooth motion. Sounds intriguing. What is that?
It's particularly interesting because it's a driver-based frame generation technology, specifically for the GeForce 50 series initially,
Okay.
but with plans to bring support to the GeForce 40 series down the line.
So it creates extra frames, like DLSS3 frame generation.
Similar concept, yeah. But the key difference is it's driver-based, so it can potentially work in games that don't natively support NVIDIA's DLSS frame generation.
Oh, wow. That could be huge for older games or games without DLSS support.
Could be, yeah. Pretty cool tech. And beyond this consumer stuff, NVIDIA also offers, NVIDIA virtual vGPU software for managing GPUs in enterprise settings.
Right, for businesses.
And their NVIDIA AI Enterprise platform for those working seriously in AI and high-performance computing, HPC.
Okay, so quite the ecosystem.
Definitely. So, wrapping things up, what does all of this really mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, the bottom line.
The evolution of NVIDIA's GeForce. It's clearly so much more than just about getting higher frame rates in your favorite games, right?
Absolutely. It's a story of continuous innovation, really, and it's had this ripple effect across just a multitude of industries, from the incredibly immersive worlds of virtual entertainment to the complex calculations powering AI, and now the physical capabilities of robots.
Exactly. The move from the GeForce 40 series to the new 50 series with its, dual focus on both raw performance and improved efficiency.
That balance again?
It really underscores NVIDIA's ongoing dedication to just pushing the boundaries of what's technically possible with GPU technology.
Yeah.
And the integration of these AI-powered features in their software, that's only going to enhance the user experience even further.
It seems like AI is becoming baked into everything they do.
Pretty much. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. When you consider that KPMG report highlighting AI as a major driver of semiconductor revenue,
Yeah.
and the just ever-increasing demand for GPUs in fields far beyond gaming,
Yeah.
it seems clear the future of GeForce is deeply intertwined with these expanding applications.
So less purely gaming, more
Yeah.
general purpose power.
Or maybe both, expanding in all directions.
Mm.
And this raises a really important question for you to think about. As GPUs become more and more integral to just a wider range of technologies, how might their evolving capabilities and maybe their increasing accessibility ultimately shape the tools and experiences you encounter in your daily life in the years to come?
That's definitely something to really chew on, how this tech weaves itself deeper into everything.
For sure.
Well, thanks so much for taking this deep dive with us today. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure.
Be for now, and we'll catch you on the next one.